How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I start the very first step in the traveling custom diecast car. I've been thinking about what I want to do, and let me explain what I'm going to do. Again, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So glad each and every one of you can make it. My plan was to paint this car. I wanted to do one of my marble paint jobs. That's what I was thinking when Ronnie told me I'd been selected to start the process. But then I got to thinking, if I paint it, that limits the ability of everybody to follow, to do things. Like if somebody wants to make a wide body out of this, well, they can't. If I've got it painted, they can't add the resin or JB Weld, whatever Milliput, whatever they decide to use. They can't add it to it. If they want to enlarge it, so that they can enlarge the wheel wells, so that they can lower the car, all the way down to the ground, which is the latest thing, they won't be able to do it because the car is painted. So although that's what I really want to do, I'm going to do something else. I've been looking, I've been thinking, I've been kind of torn on what to do, because I could do the interior. I'd really like to hand fabricate an interior, put roll bars and everything in it, but I don't know what the next person is going to want to do. And that's what makes this fun, because everybody will have their own input and their own idea. So what I'm going to do is Rodney sent a couple engines. And this is the one I picked out so far. I don't know that this will be the final one, but he sent a double supercharged one. But I really don't like that intake, that air intake on the top. So I'm going to try to find something different for that. If I can't, then I may cut off one of the superchargers and hand make an intake, kind of like what is on the bone shaker, something like that. Or I may use a different engine altogether, because he sent this one and another one, a dual turbocharged one. But anyhow, that's the plan. I already have a couple holes cut in the hood and drilled in the hood so we can put the saw blade in it. So let's get outside and get this bad boy cut open. And be forewarned, I'm in my pajama bottoms because I'm trying to rest today, believe it or not. Sunday. It's going to be a long week, the week before Christmas, so trying to rest a little bit. So with that stated, let's get outside and cut. Well, there you go. I've got it cut open. And like I said, I'm going to have to do some work to this. Right? because it sits too tall with the oil pan on it. And I know I don't like it that tall. That kind of looks like a tuned car. So, with that stated, and it's setting a little unlevel, I want it set level. So with that stated, I'm going to try to take off the bottom section of the engine. I can't go any lower. It needs to be up to the bottom of the blocks. The heads, up to the bottom of the heads. That way it sits down in there nice and low, kind of like that. But we'll see. I may switch up and, like I said, take the superchargers off and all that. But here's how it looks sitting in the car. Looks nice and mean, but that engine is just too tall. Too tall. I don't want it to look like a tuned car. I want it to look like a custom. But now I have some decisions to make. First, I'm going to leave that little bit of cowl for the next person. The person that does the paint work, or somebody randomly, if they want to take that off and fill in the air vents on the cowl, make it nice and smooth, they're so welcome to do it. If somebody wants to make some exterior gauges for monitoring the engine and put them on that, use that as a mount for the engine, the instrument gauges, that's all fine and dandy. But I'm going to leave that for the paint and body man. But what I need to do is figure out if I'm going to paint the engine, because what I'm planning on doing is cutting this off where it needs to go, making me a firewall on the back side, right? Make a firewall and glue this to the firewall. That way, no matter who's working on it, they take it out, if they take the interior out to paint it, work on it, whatever, this will be attached to the firewall. I don't know if I'll make the firewall permanent to where it stays in there, because this is about how high I want this to be sitting. Something like that. Not like that. I want about half the head sticking out. So I got a few things I need to figure out. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this. I thought about just using this to hold the engine, and I still might yet. And then just super glue it in, something down like right about there. That way, whoever takes this in and out, it'll stay mounted. But then that poses another problem, because then you're going to have to tape this off whenever you paint, if I go ahead and paint it. So, there's a lot of decisions in this, because in the thought process, because reverse engineering, because you don't know what the next person has planned. You don't know what the next person wants to do. Right? Because there's a piece that I was thinking about cutting that out and just using that as supports and super gluing the engine to it. That way it's always in there. But as I look at it, that is actually going uphill, so the engine's going to want to lean back. So I think my best bet is to make a firewall. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. We'll figure that out, and I'll let you know what we're doing here in a few minutes. In your time. My time, it might be a couple days. So here's a quick update. As you seen earlier, I cut the hood out. First time I've ever done that. I think it turned out very nice. It's nice and square. I tried to follow the hood lines as best as I could. But that eliminated the post to hold that down. So hopefully the rear post will hold it. If not, somebody down the line, when it's finished, can glue it together. I worked on the engine, as you just saw. I wanted to take out those corners. And I think I still got a little bit of shaping to do on this, right in there. But anyhow, I wanted rather than having the block coming down like a real block into the corners, going into the pan and everything, I was trying to figure out some way to hold this thing in the car so that the next person wouldn't have issues with it. And I'm still not done with it. We'll go over top in a minute and maybe some plans for something else. But anyway, I got the bright idea. This piece sticks out, right? This piece always sticks out on the cars. It helps hold the front wheels down. Well, you know, we'll be putting axle tubes or gluing them down in there so they don't move. So we really don't need this. But I came up with the bright idea of notching that out and putting the engine in there. That's why I wanted this flat. So it would have a nice flat shelf. The bottom of the heads would have a nice flat shelf to sit on. And not only that, I wanted it to sit down in the car as far as it could go. So I may end up going just a little bit more with the filing. I went up to almost the bottom of the valve covers. I really don't want to mess with the valve covers because I'm thinking about doing something there. If I can help it, maybe I can kind of angle file up into it a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. But it sits in it perfect. I mean, it just slides right in there like it's made for it, as you can see. And when I originally cut that out and set the engine in it, this sets up in the back of up in the front of the car a little bit. So I made the engine want to rise up in the front. So I angle sanded that so that now it's got a slight slope going down. And here's what it looks like in the car. I had to clean it up so you guys could see it real good. It's still sitting just a little bit higher than I would like, but look at that. It's sitting in there. It's sitting nice and flat. Now I got the bottom pushed in. It's sitting in there nice and flat, which is what I want. And now I can paint it and do whatever I want to it and then get it ready to send to the next person. But this has been bothering me a little bit. To me, I don't know. It just looks a little bit small to me. In the last video, or last box that Rodney sent, he sent a few 3D printed parts to go on top of engines. Got two that has the blower with the intake on it, and two without the blower. So I got the bright idea. Wonder how that would look. So I'm thinking that's the one that I'm going to use. I'm going to snip this one off right now and hold that on there. So let me get my little snippers out. I don't have any sprue cutters. One of these days I'm going to buy me a pair. But you know, every time I go I need something else. Like I need a thing of paint, or I need a thing of thinner, or this and that. But it's only got, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's two little posts up underneath there that I can just clip. And then I can file it down if I need to, or sand it or whatever. And I just clipped one and both of them popped off. So that worked great. So now I can just take that, file that down a little bit, and then super glue that one on. I think that one fits the size of the engine better, and I think that will look better. What do you guys think? So the next thing I'll do is file this down, sand it down, get that smooth, get it ready for this, but I'm not going to put that on there just yet because I want to chrome the superchargers. I got to chrome them first, let that dry so I can get in and paint the valve covers, paint the engine and all that stuff. So next time you see this, we will be getting ready for paint. But I just wanted to give you that update. I think it's going to look nasty, real nasty. And I'm trying to think ahead. Doesn't matter if somebody wants to Pro Street this or just make a really, really cool lowrider custom out of it or whatever. But this engine sticking out of this bad boy will just look nasty. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That just makes the car look completely different having that sticking up out of there. So, next step, painting the engine, and then we will be picking somebody else for it to go to. And a quick little PS while I sit here. I just got done sanding that so that would fit on the top really good. Dang it, this thing does not want to focus when you want it to. I just got done sanding the little knobs off the top so that this would fit on there flusher. But yes, I think that looks a lot better on there. What do you guys think? I think it looks a lot better. But anyhow, the next person that gets this, or whoever, if they decide that they don't like the interior, if they decide they want to do the interior, another reason I wanted to mount this like this, number one, you could probably work this engine off of the super glue, right? And then take the engine out. Or you could theoretically cut it right there at the firewall and then re-super glue the whole structure back to the new firewall. Because I was thinking about doing a complete engine bay. I put this back in here, right? I was thinking about doing a complete engine bay, but it doesn't need it because there's not much of it you can actually see once the engine's in it. See? I mean, it kind of needs something to close in the fender wells, but it kind of doesn't. So the next guy that wants to work on that or whatever, feel free to. I mean, it might be something as simple as just super gluing a piece of styrene up underneath the bottom of the, up under here to fill in that. But anyhow, that's what she's looking like right now. Oh yeah, that's going to be mean looking, boys. Be mean looking. Trying to get it to where you can see it. Look at that. I think that's a lot more appropriate. It's actually a little too big, but I think that it will be fine and dandy. I got a little bit of filing to do. I mean, sanding on it, do it to knock some edges down. But outside of that, this thing is almost ready. Be painted. Okay, it's time to move this thing along. Let's look at what I've done. And this is what I'm fixing to explain to you is what makes these types of builds so much fun and so interesting. I happen to be the first stop, and of course I chose the Camaro. There's two cars in this box, Camaro and a Porsche. Next person that gets it might want to do the Porsche. Next person gets it after that might want to do the Porsche. Then it might come back to the Camaro. Who knows how it's going to go. But that's what makes it so fun. Each person does what they want to the car and then sends it to the next person. My idea was to cut the hood out. Never cut the hood out of a car before, so I wanted to do it on this car since it's going to go back to Rodney, and then he's going to put it on the wheel, everybody that participated in this car, and send it on to the random picker or the spinning wheel. We'll pick who wins the car. Could come back to me. It could go back to somebody else. But anyhow, I cut the hood out because Rodney sent this engine in with the car as well as a few other pieces. And I knew I wanted to use the engine. So that's what I did. I made the engine to where it would fit right in that cradle. So the next person can use the cradle. They can cut it out. They can make a cradle. Whatever they want to do to it. I was going to paint the engine, but I have had a few issues come up, and I'm not going to be able to do so. But that just gives another person further down the line a way to get involved once things start running out on this car. May not even get to use this engine. Somebody might say, no, I don't like that engine. I have an engine that I want to put in there instead. Okay, go right ahead. That's what makes this so much fun. But the ball has started. It's all set up. This is how it's going to be shipped. This has been a ton of fun. And Ronnie told me I could keep it a little longer because of everything that's been going on and Christmas and New Year's and all that. But this was the kind of look I had envisioned. Not really a tuned car. I would like for it to sit a little bit lower. But if you really look at it, I've went as far as I can go without cutting into the valve covers. I really have. So the only way to get it dropped down any further
is to start cutting down into this, which I could do, but I'm not going to. I've had it long enough. The next person, if they say want to do it, they can. But if you go too far, I mean, you can get it down probably half the valve cover depth. Because if you look right here, if you go too far, you're going to start cutting into where the oil pan is, and then it's not going to want to work right. But whoever down the line, like I said, might choose a different engine. They might choose to use this one, whatever. You know, it's just one of those processes. What we're going to end up with, I don't know, but I think it's going to be a work of art. As you can see, I took the windshield and I cut that tab off that locates the windshield in that hole. And I just did that because with the engine, with the hood cut out, you can see that. It was sticking down like a sore thumb, you could see it. So I didn't want to leave that, so I went ahead and cut that out. It doesn't affect anything, but that's what we've got so far. So it's going on its way to Kirshner Farms, Lee over there. Let's see what he does. Like I said, he may want to just discard that, put a different hood on it, who knows. But I've got the ball started, I've got the ball rolling. What we'll end up with, nobody knows. But it's going to be a fun thing to watch. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to get started on me one. Not this particular engine. There was another engine that was in with this car. Rodney told me I could keep a few things out of it. So that other engine is going to stay with me. And it's going to go in mine. But be on the lookout for one on my channel. Because I'm going to be doing one soon. So, Lee, can't wait to see what you do. Everybody that's watched this video, if you want to get in on it, be sure to check out Lee's channel. I don't know how he's going to draw his name, or if he's got somebody in mind, or how he's going to do his. I just wanted to use the random comment picker on my channel because that just opens it up to everybody that really wants to be involved. You know, let's see where this thing goes. I think it's a very ingenious idea. And yeah, let's have some fun with it. Stay on the lookout, everybody. It could be coming to your door soon. Till next time, everybody. Thank you so very much for watching.